Everything you need to know about the Vigo Dem Party. So sit back, relax, and watch from anywhere. Get ready for a chat with the chair.
I'm Joe Etling, Chair of the Vigo County Democratic Central Committee, and welcome to the award-winning Chat with the Chair. We're so glad you could join us. Hope everyone is doing well. Boy, this month is just flying by. We're working our way into fall. Halloween is just around the corner. Can you believe it? And of course, Election Day is rapidly approaching. Here on the chat, we are definitely focusing now in on some great races that are upcoming and some awesome candidates that we have. We want to share with you, and one of those candidates is with us tonight. Tell our viewers who you are.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having me. My name is Noah Gambill. I'm running for Vigo County Superior Court Division 1, and this is my first time on Chat with the Chair.
Well, we are delighted. We always enjoy having someone in here for the first time, and of course, as you probably know, as being a frequent viewer of the chat, that there's some hardball questions that come, and of course, you know, the toughest question, we're going to lead with it, is what do you think of the Blazer?
I love the Blazer. I love the Blazer, and it reminds me of Judge Bulk, who sets a very high standard in the legal community with regard to not only Blazers, but pants and slacks as well.
Yes, that's true.
And it is state known, his clothing.
Wow, well, he, I know, is very proud of it, and of course, we were old classmates, so it may have been something, a 2-for-1 was going there or something, I don't know, but I'm sure there's something in our high school backgrounds that might attribute to all this, but we're delighted you could join us and tell our viewers a little about your background, Noah.
Sure, absolutely. My name is Noah Gambill, and I grew up in southern Vigo County. I have been very, very fortunate to grow up here. My wife and children are here. I went to Terre Haute South High School, graduated.
Home of the
Terre Haute South Braves.
There we go.
And so I graduated in 2000. My daughter currently attends there as a freshman, which is very, very hard to believe.
It's hard to believe.
And then my wife Maria is from the Twin Cities, Minnesota. But I went to Indiana University, graduated there in classical history.
Nice.
And then came back here, took a year off, and did triathlons and worked for Boo at Crossroads Cafe when that still was around. And then went to law school and Hamlin University in St. Paul, Minnesota. Met my wife while I attended law school. And then we eventually moved back here, and I started practicing in private practice. And then our son was born, and he is 11 years old right now.
Hard to believe.
Oh my goodness, it flies by. So I was in private practice for approximately 9 years, and then went to and made a change, and it's been a good fit. And I left private practice and now work for the Department of Child Services. And so I handle cases involving children, specifically children who have been neglected or abused. And sometimes I have to try cases involving the termination of parental rights. Those are tough cases, but I have great coworkers there at the department. And I've also been the attorney for DCS in Judge Mulliken's Family Recovery Court, which is, as you know, a problem-solving court here in Vigo County. And so I've worn many hats over the years in different organizations, but that's kind of the synopsis of my professional trajectory until this point.
You've also been very involved at the state level and the local level with the bar associations. Talk about what inspired you to do that.
Well, what inspired me to do that was Jeff Lind, who is a local attorney. And so Jeff Lind has been the president of the State Bar Association. And we were on a case he was on the other side of a civil case that I was working on, and we had exchanged briefs and legal arguments, and he said, Noah, I want you to apply to this Leadership Development Academy, and you are applying to that Leadership Development Academy, and so I did, and it really changed my professional career. so the State Bar Association puts on this Leadership Development Academy, and it involves about 25 attorneys who are new in their career at that time, and you travel around the state and you learn about yourself, not only on your leadership style, but how meet others. And you, in mine in particular, we went to the State House, we went to Fort Muscatatuck, we went to Indianapolis for one, and then we went to Columbus, Indiana. And that's where, and this was approximately 9 years ago, and it was, it just changed. It changed my life. And so through that, I volunteered as president of the Terre Haute Bar Association. I have been president of the Bar Association twice. I've been on the Board of Governors for the State Bar Association. I have served on the Young Lawyers Council before I aged out, which was very, very tough to take. Yeah. Actually, funny side note to that is when it was my last year on the council, and we were meeting virtually, and my son asked Dad, what meeting do you have? And I said, well, I've got a meeting with the young lawyers. And he goes, they still allow you to be on there? I love my son. So, so I've done that, and in different organizations as well. Different committees with the State Bar Association as far as their selection committee for a new president, and so that's something I feel very strongly about with regard to not only the bar, but being a mentor to young lawyers, and making sure that the attorneys in the community help to give back their time and talents as well.
And talk about the importance of that. Of course, many people from the outside looking in, just as you were referencing, you and Jeff Lynn on separate sides of the case, so they view you as being advocates, yet he's, in essence, as an older lawyer, mentoring you as a young lawyer.
Right.
So what's the importance of that, and how is that something that you've carried on?
Well, it's something that I feel very strongly about, because the thing that I tell young attorneys in particular is be hard on the issues, not on the people. And I think that goes in many things in life, whether it's politics, whether it's the legal profession, or just your everyday interactions, is that things should not be personal. It should be you can have a respectful disagreement on the issues, but at the end of the day, the person that you may be against on one day might be a judge, might be a somebody that you are working with, and so you want to build those relationships, if anything, so that they trust your arguments, but trust you as in your professionalism and being respectful not only in the courtroom or outside the courtroom. So it's something that we all try to strive for. We all falter at times, but we all try to strive to. I feel like we should all try to strive for is that professionalism and that in as attorneys and as individuals.
So of course you talked about your background in private practice, and then moving on into the Department of Child Services, and then the work you've done in the State Bar and the local bar association. So you made a decision then in the last year to take a different career path here. Talk about what that is and what you're doing right now.
Sure. So I've always thought that running for judge might be something that would fit my personality, and it's something that I've considered over time, and didn't know when the right time for that was. It came upon that Judge Roach, who is the current sitting judge in Vigo County Superior Court Division I, decided he was not going to run again, and then it became a sit-down decision with my family, my wife and children, and sitting down with them and decide, was this the right time? And we made it a family decision, and because when it comes to running for an election, it has to be a family decision. And that's what I tell a lot of my friends who are involved in the community, who've contemplated running for office, is that it has to be a family decision, and it has to be a support network around you. And decided, spoke to you, and that about this is something that I was thinking about doing, and decided that I would do that. There were two fine gentlemen who also ran in the primary as well. Who we had probably one of the best primaries you could hope for. We were helping each other. Good to go to events, reminding each other. It was very respectful, very courteous, talking about what made us different, but not speaking negatively about each other. And I just happened to be the fortunate individual who won the primary, and hope I can be fortunate enough in the general election.
Now, no, that was the first time you had sought public office.
Yeah.
And for the viewers and for those people who are contemplating that, was there one single item that in conversation with your wife and your family that pushed you to decide to put your name on the ballot?
For me, it's my wife knew that I try to be a problem solver. It's amazing the arguments I lose in my household, but yet I win outside and in the courtroom. But it's I feel that a judge has not only a duty but an obligation to try to not only solve problems but also communicate those issues that the judge is seeing in the courtroom with the community at large. A court is reactionary to whatever social ills that are going on, whether it's criminal, whether it's a family issue, whether it's a mental health issue, or any other number of reasons. What I think a judge can help do is communicate with stakeholders in the community of here are the things that we see happening. What are the things that we can do to combat those issues? And those problem-solving courts are really a very important aspect of that. So for us, for our decision, she knew and understood that that's my personality, is trying to make this community better using my talents. And for me, I think the legal profession has the potential to do such great good for the community. And so we decided that we would jump in. It's been a roller coaster, and she has been very much a supporter, helping with the kids and making sure to keep the household going, while I'm out going to every community event that I can.
Of course, the viewers are exposed to judges in different ways, and oftentimes they see judges depicted on television. Talk to our viewers a little bit about Vigo Superior Court Division 1 and what the judge of that court does and you would be doing as that judge.
So Vigo County Superior Court Division 1 handles major felonies and high misdemeanors, as well as probate issues, some family law issues, and most importantly, Veterans Court as well. And Veterans Court, I think I alluded to earlier, is a problem-solving court. We have Veterans Court, we have Family Recovery Court, which I am a part of. We have Mental Health Court and Drug Court. I think I've named all of them there. And I think that the Indiana Supreme Court has really put an emphasis on these problem-solving courts because they want the courts system and the legal profession to help those issues that we are combating as a community, whether it be usually it's methamphetamine or substance use disorder, as we call SUD, and mental health. And those typically go hand in hand, and we see a lot of that at the Department of Child Services. If I had my druthers, if I had a magic wand to have all the grant money in the world, I think a domestic violence problem-solving court would be very, very helpful in our community. The issue that we have coming on the horizon is that these problem-solving courts are funded by the state, in part. There are grants as well, but that money from court services is gradually being reduced. And so I think that the state or the court services would like the county or other sources of income to help with funding those things And I think that a judge has such an administrative responsibility of seeing that coming on the horizon and making preparations for that, whether it's, again, grant writing, or whether it's making the county leaders aware of this coming on the horizon, or working with community partners and non-for-profits of how they can help assist with regard to those funding needs.
And you also talked about the primary. Of course, as you indicated, there were two other candidates for the position, excellent candidates. I know colleagues and friends of yours, in addition to having tremendous experience in the courtroom and in other aspects of the community. So talk about what that was like, and the campaign itself, which was, of course, was somewhat different because people were able to get out and campaign in a more traditional way. So how was that for you and your campaign?
It was great, and I think I call them my George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life moments, where I have been very, very fortunate, at least with my campaign, with regard to individuals that I have helped over the years or assisted with that have come out of the woodwork and have raised their hand about walking, going door to door, or helping put out signs, or hey, Noah, would you come meet our particular group or have breakfast? So I've been blessed, and I have been humbled by those individuals who have done that. And I think that for me, I think the different organizations I've been involved in, whether it's the Chamber of Commerce or as president of the Taxpayers Association, a Democrat being president of the Taxpayers Association, and because I think as Democrats, I have been instilled with the idea of social, being social justice, as well as looking out for the individuals in our community, and but also being fair. And I think anybody coming into the courtroom just wants a fair shot, whether they're represented by a public defender, a private attorney, or they're there by themselves. So in the primary, it was just a very humbling experience, and it was a fun experience. And when we and I say my wife and I and our kids, when we decided we were going to do this as a family, we were going to try to do this as fun as possible. And politics and fun don't always go hand in hand.
They do not.
But we've tried to.
Of course, after the primary, of course, you had a great showing down at the Vigo County Fair, and it looked like you had some 4-H connections down there as a big crowd came out, and that was some fun, serving ice cream, I think.
Yes, we did. So my family has been involved in the Vigo County Fair for many, many years. I showed pigs when I was there. Now, I did it so I could stay at the fair with my buddies all week, pretty much. And then it was my sister who took it up a notch and made my brother and I look bad, and did real well. And my daughter shows horses, and she has done really well there, and she works very hard at it. And so we have our camper, and we stay there all week. And folks from the barn and friends came out, and we served ice cream, and we had a great time.
It was a great time. Now, I will warn you, if you've got that familiar with the pigs, you got to watch Judge Mulliken in that family recovery court around the goats.
That's what I hear.
You got to watch her around the goats. So
that's what I hear.
I don't think you can milk hogs or pigs, can you?
I don't think you can. However, I think that there should be a competition of all the judges next summer.
Oh, really?
I'm just proposing.
That's not a bad challenge there. So that might be something we can work on.
For a goat milking competition.
Yeah, goat milking.
Yeah. Outside Democrat headquarters.
Okay.
I think we could arrange that.
So if you were handicapping that, are you the prohibitive favorite in that, you think, or not?
I don't think I would be the prohibitive favorite. I think she has much more experience than I do. But I'll give her a run for her money.
And I'm just going to say this, and with all due respect to the circuit court judge and her championship background that she has, but Judge Newton may be a sleeper in that one. I think he could be a sleeper. I think there's a lot of goats that could be in his background. So I'm just saying he could be the sleeper.
Quite possibly.
The Cinderella
story.
Yeah, Cinderella story.
Nobody saw it
Newton.
coming.
So yeah.
Swoops right in there.
So of course we've continued with the campaign, and we recently had the Labor Day parade, and once again you had a big crowd out there, and it looked like people were having a lot of fun. What was going on? It looked like it was bath time out there.
Do not underestimate the power of foam and bubbles with the youth in our community.
Okay.
We were very, very fortunate again that Foam Homies partnered up with us for our float and with the campaign, and we had a ball. We absolutely had a ball. So we had foam everywhere down the parade route. The kids loved it. They were more interested in the bubbles than they were with the candy.
Is that right?
That's
wow,
absolute. That is a fact.
That is shocking.
I've got some candy left over. So that was, and then when we got to the end of the parade route, we still had bubbles left, and we had an impromptu foam party right at the end of the parade.
Oh, wow.
So you had kiddos from other campaigns and other floats jumping off and then getting inside in the foam. It was too much fun. It was too much fun.
That was a clever idea and sure got a lot of attention. So let's talk about an election coming up here and the weeks leading up. What's on Noah Gambill's agenda coming up for the election?
Well, it is really talking to as many people as possible and telling them who I am and what I'm about, and getting to know folks. I think that has been my success, at least in the primary, is people know what I'm about and how I set myself apart as far as my leadership experience and what I would like to do in the future with not only mentoring young lawyers, but also my experience with helping doing pro bono work and helping with talk to a lawyer programming and things like that I've helped coordinate, and being out there to try that. Telling people I want to do the job. I want to do the job, and I'm passionate about this because I feel like it's a calling for me. I feel like that my ability to try to problem solve and do that. So it's getting out there in front of many as people as possible. We still have a couple of parades left. We still have a lot of events going on in our community, and really just advocating not only for the profession but also for the skills that I bring to the table.
Of course, you've been involved in a number of campaigns, but the first time your name was on the line on the ballot. So, has it been everything that you thought it would be being the candidate?
It has been a marathon. It has been a marathon. Being a candidate is it is tough. It's time away from your family. It's going to a lot of events. But it's been a lot of fun. I love talking to people. I really, really do, and I love what we do as lawyers. I enjoy that. So in that respect, that's not been hard. But I have learned a lot about myself. I need to delegate more. I have a hard time delegating. And so that is something that I need to work on, whether it's in this profession or the next.
So the viewers that want to get involved with your campaign, how would they get a hold of you, and how would they go about doing that?
Well, we have noahforjudge.com. We are also at Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. And so you can message the campaign through social media, which is on Facebook, which is Noah for Judge, or again, Noah for Judge at Gmail.
And with regard to upcoming events, any place that people might be able to see you come about that's coming up?
I'll be making appearances in many different places. I think the Blues Fest we might have a presence at, and I think that I think that there will be a lot of different things, whether it's at the North-South football game coming up,
yes,
or any number of places.
So of course we still have the Fire Prevention Parade and the NES State Homecoming Parade on the horizon. Will the bubbles make a return is the question.
I'm not promising anything. I'm not promising anything, but quite possibly. And there's, there are other things coming on, that I've been involved into that I would be doing regardless of whether I'd be running for office. And this is something Judge Mulliken failed to mention, and that is Adoption Day is coming up.
Okay.
That is in the month of November.
Okay.
And I have been fortunate to work with Judge Mulliken as an adoption attorney and as a DCS attorney, and it's something we've worked on. The first year we did it, it was adoption triage. I was running back and forth out of that courtroom because I had a lot of adoptions. And now we're trying to, now that we're out of the pandemic, we're really trying to make it every year bigger and better. And that's through her leadership and through DCS and CASA. We try to do the best that we can to make that as memorable for those kiddos as possible.
Well, that's great you've been involved, and we appreciate her leadership. I know she takes a lot of pride in that, and it's wonderful that attention is brought to that by the media, including the chat with the chair here. Noah, we appreciate you coming in to join us. You get the last word. What do you have to tell our viewers?
I'm just very fortunate of these viewers and the folks that have supported the candidates. Please, whoever that candidate is, go out and support them, whether it's volunteering your time or energy in whatever capacity. Help them out. They sure appreciate it. I know I do as well.
We definitely encourage everybody to make sure you're registered to vote, and we encourage you to vote. Of course, anybody in Vigo County can cast a ballot in this election. And we want to encourage you to do that. We appreciate Noah coming in to join us and wish him nothing but the best as he finishes off his work and his campaigning here. It's a marathon, as he said, but we appreciate all the good candidates putting their name on the ballot and working so hard for our community. I'm Joe Etling. We appreciate you joining us. Hope everybody's staying safe. Have a great evening. God bless you all.
MOCRATIC. Everything you need to know about the Vigo Dem Party. So sit back, relax, and watch from anywhere. Get ready for a chat with a chair.